KZMB All Zombie Radio.
Well, my computer froze. Just Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Limited Series Lounge. I'm so sorry about the delay. That was bananas. I went to check my computer like right before 7, and I had forgotten that we had a power outage like a day ago. So everything was completely shut down. I didn't think it was. So my bad. So sorry. Yikes. Anyway, it's okay because we don't have a ton to talk about. And then we're going to move over to another live stream. So here's the sitch with this, okay? One, Takeerah's not here. She is unwell, as is her whole family. They're all sick at home right now. And so she messaged me today and said, hey, I'm not going to be able to make the stream. I really wanted to. I feel bad about it, but I can't. And of course, I was like, it's fine. Get some rest. Don't worry about it. We'll handle the stream. Surprise, we're doing 2 streams. Did you forget? I didn't. For once, I did not forget. So we will be doing, and by we, I mean you and me, because I don't know who else I'm talking about, but we will be doing this live stream until 8 o'clock. And then we will end this live stream and we will head over to the new live stream. Again, you'll have to head over to my YouTube channel page to see it. But there is another live stream set up for 8 p.m. Called the Evidence Board. Now, the Evidence Board has to do with High Potential and season 2 of High Potential. And once we are done covering Over the Garden Wall, so in a couple weeks, in 5 weeks, we will be ending the Limited Series Lounge. Hi, Durga. We'll be ending the Limited Series Lounge for like a like full hiatus until next summer. So in the meantime, I will cover High Potential instead. So High Potential then will move into that 7 p.m. slot on Fridays, if that makes sense. So for right now, we're going to cover this 5th episode of Over the Garden Wall really quickly. Then again, I will end this stream and we will jump onto the other stream for the Evidence Board, which will be a High Potential show. So I hope you'll come over for that. I get it if not, because it's maybe not everyone's jam. But if you're into crime dramas and procedurals, you might be interested. It's fun. It's a fun one. So that'll be like in lieu of Found. Since we're not doing Found because Found got canceled, this is in lieu of Found. We'll be doing High Potential instead. And Over the Garden Wall, we will wrap up, and then Limited Series Lounge will be on hiatus until summer. And I think that'll just be a summer show from now on. Otherwise, like, I don't know, I was thinking it like doesn't give us a break ever. And that's tough. So probably better to have shows that have like built-in breaks instead of just running show after show after show after show after show. So that's the plan. I hope you're along for the ride. I'm glad you're here, Durga. Someone else is here as well. I'm glad whoever else is here that you're here. I love you. I don't know who you are, but I love you. All right, so we are talking 5th episode of Over the Garden Wall entitled Mad Love. This aired November 5th, 2014. And I believe that was a Wednesday. So we're now halfway through the run. Again, it was a 5-night limited series that came out. And so 2 episodes aired Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, 2 on Friday. And Wednesday's first episode was entitled Mad Love, which is episode 5. It garnered 1.55 in US viewers for millions for the ratings. So on the higher end. Unfortunately, from here it does go back down. So it had kind of like an art movement in terms of ratings, but that makes sense because again, Comedy Central, not Comedy Central, Cartoon Network was running this, and they were running it kind of like they had done they had done a fair amount of advertising because I had seen the original advertising when it first came out and was like, That's interesting. I'll just put it on DVR. And when I put it on DVR, then I realized it was all in 1 week. I did not know that it was all happening in 1 week. So I think that probably threw some people off. I'm sure it's aired a bajillion times since then. But that was the case at the time. We'll go ahead and, like every week, we'll head over to Revisiting Fiction, Overthinking Animation, the blog. That's right. For Over the Garden Wall episode 5 review, which was written October 15th, 2020. In episode 5 of Over the Garden Wall, our trio plus Fred the horse somehow get into an old man's mansion by pretending to be his nephews so that they can steal money for travel. This episode is funny, but not because of any of what I just said. So, after the serious, tension filled ending of the last episode, we fall right back into the strange episodic nature this show falls in and out of. I guess we're back to the lighthearted side of things. Honestly, don't know how to feel about this episode. It's not as wacky and enjoyable as I found School Town Follies to be, but it does help develop Beatrice and Wirt a bit and did cement Fred as my new favorite character. I wish he'd stayed around longer. Beatrice, having originally been a human who was cursed into the form of a bluebird, is a very fairy tale esque. Um, is very fairy tale esque, and I love it. I love it even more that this happened because she threw a rock at a bluebird. And as bad as that sounds, that her entire family got cursed along with her. It's just something kind of weird and random I didn't expect out of a fairy tale versus the more modern fantasy stories I've found myself consuming. I hope I never get any backstory or anything on that bluebird with the ability to curse people because I don't need it. I don't need to know how a bluebird can curse humans. I just need to know that I'm absolutely correct in believing that being a dick to nature will have severe consequences. Does this mean that Fred was once a human? Because so far, only Beatrice and Fred are animals capable of talking. Anyway, moving on to Wirt for a brief moment. We actually didn't get a lot about him while at the same time inferring a whole lot. Wirt is a perfectly average human boy, complete with a crush, an interest he's embarrassed to admit he has for possibly fear of ridicule. Again, this is perfectly normal and really nothing terribly new, but it is something. I'm wondering if back home, Wirt suppressed his enjoyment of poetry to better fit in with his peers, who might have thought that boys liking poetry were worth scorn. Was he ever teased for his crush or saw others get teased for their crushes and so never said anything? I'm also wondering if one of his parents studied architecture, interior design, or something to that effect. And that's why he doesn't know that most people don't know whatever it is he said once he entered the other mansion. Speaking of the mansion, the big reveal at the end of this episode being so incredibly mundane is great. The big reveal being that the two mansions owners' mansions were secretly connected to each other is pretty clever. The man and the woman thinking that the other is a ghost was stupid. Did these two pass out every time they saw each other? What did they do when they woke up? The other person was still there. Did they never see each other in daylight? Did they never question why there was so much stuff in parts of their mansion that they never bought? Were these mansions inherited or something? Why am I even so worked up about this? I know what kind of logic this show runs on. The strange amount of obliviousness makes up a good chunk of the one off secondary characters of Over the Garden Wall. Aside from that, and from Greg throwing the 2 cents Wirt and Beatrice tried to steal, a truly infuriating moment that completely encompasses the words little sibling, this was an okay episode. I'm more upset about never seeing Fred again than anything. Please tell me Fred comes back. Please. Oh, thank you, Dirk. I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, super fast. And I don't know if you're interested in the high potential thing, but it's a great show. You should give it a watch if you have time, which I understand not all of us do. But so Over the Garden Walls, episode 5, Mad Love. I'll just read a little synopsis real quick. Wirt and Greg claim to be the nephews of the wealthy and eccentric Quincy Endicott. So they can steal 2 cents from him to pay for the ferry to Adelaide's house. Now, I want to say this part cracked me up because so the episode just starts with them in this house with this old man for dinner, and you're like I did a take two where I was like, did I did I like accidentally skip an episode? Did I like how did we get here? Um but that is truly the entrance of the episode, and you don't really know how they got there. Um what you do find out in the first minute is that Beatrice lied to this old man about Wirt and Greg being his nephews so that they could get money from him. And she's like, "Yeah, we're going to steal." And Wirt's like, "That's horrible. I don't want to do that." And then Beatrice is like, says something about like, "What about Fred?" And Wirt is like, "Well, Fred is a talking horse. Like he can do whatever he wants." And Fred just looks at him and goes, "I want to steal." I don't know why, but that sent me over the edge. It was so funny. Um, so they're there to steal, but they're only there to steal 2 cents. They need 2 cents to take the ferry, I guess, to get to Adelaide, the good woman of the woods. So it's kind of an interesting concept, this 2 cent situation. Quincy tells them that he has fallen in love with a ghost that he saw one night. So Quincy Endicott has fallen in love with a woman that he had seen in a portrait. He said she's the most beautiful woman that he's ever seen, and he really wants to be with her. And I don't know, it's highly unusual. And also, he's like, "Well, maybe I fell in love with a ghost." And he's not even worried that he fell in love with the ghost. He's more worried that the ghost isn't real. So that's it's wild. It's just like it's a weird pretense. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Sorry, my screen was wigging out. Wigging out bad. Okay. All right. Okay, so um he fears that he's going mad and he imagined the ghost, and that's really the part that upsets him the most. While Wirt and Beatrice search for pennies, Quincy takes Greg and Fred to search for the ghost. So Beatrice reveals to Wirt that she once was human, and so now we find out about this curse that she's under. Which I did remember the curse. I did remember that she was human from the first watch when it originally came out. But other than that, and Enoch really creeping me out, I really didn't remember anything else about this show. Um, she like shares this, and then Wirt is trying to share with her in order to like reciprocate this level of like friendship and intimacy. And so he reveals that he has a crush on a girl named Sarah, and that he plays the clarinet, and that sometimes he reads poetry aloud to himself in his bedroom at night. And she's like, "That's those none of those are like really weird things. I mean, maybe the poetry thing is, but none of those are really weird things because they're just like things that you do. They're not like like the fact that you were turned into a bluebird is like something that happened to you." Um Beatrice uh and Wirt kind of, end up in this like weird area of the mansion. They end up going through like the back of a fireplace. And Beatrice really wants to get Adelaide because she believes that Adelaide can change her back. That's like the big push for her then. It's not really to help Wirt and Greg. It's just like that would also help them maybe. So the group reunites. Oh, excuse me. And discover that the ghost was in fact Quincy's neighbor and business competitor, whose mansion is connected to his because their mansions have gotten so large, they've built on so much that they ended up being connected. And the two embrace and award Greg a penny each for his help because, as it turns out, she was also in love with him. And Greg discards the 2 cents in Quincy's fountain, claiming that he has no sense at all, which was it was very frustrating. It was a very frustrating moment. I wasn't happy about it. It made me mad. It made me mad. I didn't know how to feel about it other than kind of just being like, all right, well, right back where we started. Because that's the thing. So what? The story moves forward. We're eventually going to end up at Adelaide, and then they don't have the sense to get across the ferry. So how are they going to get across the ferry? Also, what is money in this world? Because so far I haven't seen really money exchanges. There's been a lot of weird things that have happened, and people drive fruit cars and vegetables talk, and skeletons put pumpkins on their head and walk around, and birds talk and horses talk, but only sometimes. And so it's just kind of hard to reconcile all of this. Um, I don't really know. We've got about 20 minutes remaining. I want to try something. I don't know if it's going to work. I really don't. It might not. It might become a thing and the stream will get blocked or stopped or whatever, but we'll give it a shot. We're going to try it. I'm just going to try it really quick. The episodes are super short, and I wonder if I can share them if I run it not full screen. Just I don't know. We'll give it a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and that's okay. But most of the time, as long as I don't run it full screen, I don't really run into an issue. Oh, sorry. Wrong password. There we go. Okay. All right, let's get this pulled up. Oh, yikes. It's going to try to play episode 6 since I just watched 5. So give me a second while I get this straightened out here. And then we can watch it. Then we can end this stream. And then switch over to the other stream if you're so inclined. And if not, that's okay too. All right. Go back. I want to go back. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Yikes. Okay. All right, here we go. Sorry, y'all. It's like lagging really bad. Real bad. Okay. Let's see if
Yeah?
You got a lot more going for you than I thought. Huh?
Oh, yikes. That's
more like
there you go. That's where you find out that they like you didn't just drop into this like you thought you had. So
I want to steal.
like what? Like I love it. And Wirt's reaction is priceless. This face.
Rather strange.
There she is. The most beautiful woman he's ever seen. She's got
Don't call it a comeback.
Shush. I refuse to pay higher price to not have ads, you know? It's like the prices on these streaming services are getting out of hand. So it'll be back in just a second because there's not many ad breaks on this one because it's so short. Because, like, how can you have an ad break on an 11-minute episode? Oh, Dancing with the Stars. Heard Corey Feldman got kicked off. Oh, I don't watch it. See, I don't know. Seems kind of dumb, honestly. My opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not into dance enough, I guess. I'm not really sure. You guys, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. And it's hard to talk about this episode by yourself because there's like not much to it, honestly. So anyway, we'll watch this and we'll wrap it up. We will wrap it up. Ugh, I don't care about these phone ads. I have Verizon and I hate Verizon's ads like so much. So much. That reminds me. I owe them money. They want their money, as they always do. All right. Ooh, excuse me. I told you. Exhausted. All right, here we go. actually my first college degree is in interior design. So hearing these references to Rococo and Gregorian is just funny to me. The only thing that happens is that Greg throws the 2 cents into a well. All right. So the one thing I didn't mention is who voiced the new characters in this, and it's worth noting because pretty famous people. So Quincy Endicott is voiced by John Cleese. If you are a Monty Python fan, then you definitely know who John Cleese is. If you're not a Monty Python fan, then I'm gonna just tell you that he played nearly headless Nick in the Harry Potter series, and so that is who John Cleese is. He's very well known for being actively involved in Monty Python. He's been in a million other things since then. It's just like the one thing that everybody really, really knows him for. So the other new character, Marguerite Gray, is played by Bebe Neuwirth, who, if you really sit and listen to her voice, you probably can recognize her voice. She played Lillian in Cheers and then subsequently Frasier. And her voice is extremely recognizable. She's been in a slew of other things, but that's like the one role that comes to mind when I see her face is the role of Lillian. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So thank you for anyone who was here. Durga, thank you. Shout out especially to you. Other people were watching, so thank you for rolling in. Go ahead and like this video if you don't mind when you're watching this. I'm sorry it's so short, but we've got to move on to the other live streams. So I'm going to go take a quick bathroom break, and then I will be back on with another live stream. So I hope to see you over there. Thank you.